these days, we're going to look back on the Ultimate Combat experience. We're going to have a long list of Hall of Fame inductees, and 3 of these people that are fighting on the show tonight are guaranteed to be on that list.
3 of the toughest guys you know, Mike. People know and love him as Stephen Razor Sharp.
I think some people know that, Kat. And Jake Paul. Jake Paul has come in and defended the home front very well, but one guy that I know and love, the Maniac, man. Ben Fuimaono, the guy has represented UC better than anybody. They're all fighting tonight.
Benjamin Fuimaono, the knockout artist, the guy that shows you how to throw a punch.
Best 1-2 in the business, baby.
Best 1-2 in the business, and he's here to represent. I'm telling you, Mike, it's amazing. It's absolutely just a star-studded event tonight.
This is going to be a show you definitely don't want to miss. Once again, we've had 3 episodes of the Ultimate Combat Finals here at the Delta Center, and the first 2 were knockouts. This one's going to knock you into next week. It's the Ultimate Combat Experience coming right at you. Round when we fought the guys from Las Vegas and fell up short. He lost. He tapped out with 1 second left. Who's he fighting, Johnny?
He's fighting Jeff Dietrich, another guy out of the Tribal Tribe. One tough SOB, a guy that's fought a lot of fights. You can tell it in his face. He's been around the block, but Jake the Snake Paul says, not in my house.
Jake Paul says, you know what, that last loss hurt, and it hurt deep. I'm coming back with a vengeance, and I've seen him train. We're ready to get this thing going. Light heavyweight, no holds barred. Check it out.
I'm more than happy to be back down here in Salt Lake again. Actually, I have fought down here before. Team Primal Tribe is going to come down here. We're going to do some real good damage. I'm sure that Utah's got some good fighters, but I know we got some better fighters.
I love to come out and compete. I've been working really hard, and I'm excited to put on a good show for everyone. I know Jeff thinks he's pretty good, but he hasn't fought in Utah before. He doesn't know what we have for him, so look out. I work hard. And it's going to show in the fight tomorrow night. So,
why are you going to win, Jake? Tell them straight out why you're going to win tomorrow.
Because I'm better looking, and damn.
Tough crowd. Oh.
I'll tell you, Tom tears us up a lot. I do a lot of boxing and kickboxing too, at least 2-3 hours a day, 5 days a week. Run 2-3 miles a day also.
Perfect. And flat out, tell the people at home, why are you going to win, Jeff? Why are you going to win this competition tomorrow?
You might be better looking, but there's a reason why I might be ugly, man. I've taken some beatings, I survived, and I've gave them back.
All right there. Shake hands. Best of luck to both these guys.
Johnny Richie, they can argue all night long about who's better looking of the 2, but in my opinion, both these guys are almost a mirror image of one another from a physical standpoint, height, weight, and body build.
Well, they've spent some time in the weight room, that's for sure, Mike. Jake Paul we're training hard, working both aspects of his game, trying to lift weights, and also training at the Ultimate Combat Training Center with Phil Henderson, trying to get better, trying to improve his skills against a guy like Jeff Dietrich, who has had a few fights in his time, Mike.
Oh, Jake Paul's 5'11", 190 pounds, and as you mentioned, training up there was the Slam 8 crew and Phil Henderson. You're not going to find a better guy to work your corner. This kid really puts everything into his fighters. He takes care of them a lot of times out of his own pocketbook to take care of these guys and gets them places to train and gets them what they need to get better. And Jake the Snake Paul has been with him since day 1, so it's nice to see that affiliation. What do you know about this guy, Johnny?
Not much, Mike. I know that he is, as far as we can tell, he's probably one of the tougher guys that's coming out of Primal Tribe. He's had a lot of fights. He's fought in a ton of different shows, and he's got a winning record, Mike. He's he's just an all-around roughneck. They said that he's kind of like the tough kid on the block. He can fight in any type of situation, on his feet, on the ground, in the cage, or in the ring. It doesn't matter.
I take it back. He is 1 inch taller than Jake Paul, but they weigh exactly the same. And boy, Johnny, you'd almost think you're looking at the same guy. They're just so similar. And according to their trainer, Tom Subnett, they're just very similar in their fighting styles as well.
Well, that's going to make for an exciting fight, Mike, because we know Jake Paul likes to mix it up. He's pretty good on the ground, Mike, but if it was up to him, he'd stay up on his feet and knock the mouthpiece right out of your mouth.
He likes to slug it out, that's for sure. He's ready to go. I've never seen him this amped up, but oftentimes you'll see this Delta Center crowd will get you amped up, and right now Jake Paul's feeling the love.
You have thousands of people, Mike, cheering for you because you're representing their home state. You know, that can pump you up. That can make you more excited than you would about anything else in your life.
Absolutely, and this is something I'm sure most of these fighters are going to look back on for all their lives and look back on the experience. What a great experience it is for him. See, Jake Paul was able to get a nice body lock there and a takedown to start things off.
You know, he didn't land directly in Jeff's guard, which is nice. He's kind of in a good position, but you can see Jeff is working for that guard position right there, Mike.
A little game of chess here where Dietrich's trying to pull him into his guard, and Jake Paul's trying to avoid that, but it looks like Dietrich wins that aspect of the game, pulls him into his guard, but Jake Paul's not taking it as a loss. He's sitting up and throwing some sharp elbows down on Jeff Dietrich, and you can see how uncomfortable that made him. He's trying to squirm up the cage to get out of that position. He didn't like that at all.
Well, Mike, one nice thing about training the Ultimate Combat Training Center, besides the instruction that you get, is the fact that you get to jump inside the cage and do some training there. And I tell you, if you've never fought inside this thing, it's going to help out if you know what to do in the right position at the right time.
Gosh, if only they had bathrooms, that would be a great place.
Some bathrooms.
You see here, Jake Paul's got a triangle choke on Johnny Ritchie. That Jeff Dietrich got a little bit of a reversal and kind of rested on that for a minute, kind of stayed there, and Jake Paul took advantage. You see the blood pouring down now out of Jeff Dietrich's nose onto Jake Paul. and Jake Paul's just trying to keep his head out of the line of that fire of that blood, and is trying to get that triangle choke hooked on tightly and hopefully get a submission.
Well, you can see Jeff Dietrich's making it hard for him too, Mike. He's not just sitting there letting him get it on. He's punching him and striking him and bleeding on him.
Well, I think some of the blood actually helped him squeak his head out of there because acted as a lubrication there. Now Jeff Dietrich wants to return the favor with some big shots from on top.
And he did right there. You saw that, drop down a couple nice forearms right on Jake Paul's face, and it maybe it stunned Jake Paul a little bit. Now he's just kind of content to let him sit in here, maybe catch a little breather.
But this is one of those situations where you're glad we gave this guy an HIV test yesterday, because there's just a lot of blood sometimes in these fights, and head wounds and noses, they bleed a lot. There's a lot more blood. It really looks a lot more serious than it is oftentimes, but this is very uncomfortable for the guy on the bottom because you're taking a bath in your opponent's blood.
And it's gruesome looking to the people that don't know, but you know what? It's not a big deal. He'll get that nose clogged up in this if it goes to the second round, and well, it looks like it's going to, Mike, with only about 5 seconds left right here.
Well, you know, this is a bloody mess. We got more of the bloody mess when we come back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. If you just joined us, you see here the Dr. Mark Kachimani's in here checking Jeff Dietrich from Boise, Idaho out. As we mentioned before we went to the break here, head wounds bleed easily and they bleed a lot, and there really was a bloodbath going on here, but it doesn't look to me like that cut is really all that serious, Johnny.
No, it's not, Mike, but like you said, it bleeds a lot, and it was in a pretty good spot to where they could patch it up nicely, put a little Vaseline on it, and it's going to stop the bleeding, and it did. Right there, you see there's no more blood coming out of his head right there.
Somebody had to come wipe it off of Jake Paul because Jake Paul's still kind of sitting there.
Ooh,
we still have 30 seconds left in this round. The referee came in here and checked that cut, and he deemed it was okay for them to continue. Johnny, this is a tough one to score once again. How do you feel about it?
Man, I don't know. I think both these guys are jockeying for position. They both have their ups and downs in this first round, whether it was the big shots or the submission attempt. They're both working real hard, Mike. I'm not sure who to give this to. I don't know.
I think you give it to Jake Paul because of the near submission attempt.
And
look at a near ankle lock there to close the round out. And you know that all that blood's going to leave an impression on some judges as well, because that thing was bleeding a lot.
It was bleeding a lot, and right there, I think, Mike, if we would have had another 15 seconds left in that round, he might have got that ankle on nice and tight.
If you'd have had another 3 seconds, I think. That thing was on. It was on tight. You see it in the Crush Combat Camp. Brought to you by Mountain High Motorsports. It was a pretty action-packed round, although there wasn't a lot of changes in the positioning here. Once Jeff Dietrich got on top, Jake Paul did a nice job of putting that triangle choke on, but then he took the bloodbath.
They stand back up. After we come back from the cut, he jumps up and does a nice flying right hook, trying to land that on Jeff, and then he gets this nice ankle lock right here, Mike. That thing was on tight.
That thing was on, Johnny, and this fight would have been over. You see here Jeff Dietrich's corner in there working on that cut once again, trying to get the bleeding to stop, because this is a fight. If too much blood does pour down into his eyes and his vision becomes obscured by the blood, they will stop a fight like this.
Well, it was good to see Jake Paul getting wiped down too, Mike. He got a little shower, it looks like, in between the rounds, because he was covered in the stuff.
Yeah, the cut's in a pretty safe place, though. It's on the top of the head, and typically you won't see him bleed badly. Wow, big shot there that sent Jake Paul to the canvas.
Oh, man.
It looks like he's hurt, Johnny. He is hurt.
Well, I never seen this. He's just covering up,
this is not
daylight here. Yeah, this is not
typical Jake Paul.
Jake at all.
He's covered up. He's obviously hurt. I think you got to look at stopping this fight right there.
Yeah, you stop it.
He got cracked the last one for good measure. And Jake's in a crumpled mess over there in the corner. He's not getting up, Johnny Ritchie.
Totally unexpected, Mike. Totally unexpected. I would have thought Jake Paul would have came out and it would have been the other way around and landed the big shot on Jeff, because the start of the round he did land a pretty nice shot, and then Dietrich just fought back from it, and wow, really,
Johnny, it just shows how quickly things can turn in this game. You look at the last 3 seconds of the last round, Jake Paul had an ankle lock on that would have ended this fight.
Wow.
And you come out here, you get caught with a shot, or you get caught with a submission, you get caught with something, and things can turn around just like that. And Jeff Dietrich turned things around in a big way.
Well, you know Jake Paul's not going to be content with this loss, Mike. That's 2 out-of-town losses for him, and he's going to want to come back and fight this Jeff kid again and really put the hurt on him.
2 very competitive out-of-town losses. That was the uppercut, though. You see here in Crush Combat Camp, brought to you by Beehive Bail Bonds. It was just a short little uppercut, but it did the damage, and Jake Paul was hurt right there. He wasn't responding. He wasn't countering these punches right here, although he did keep his guard up, and a lot of these punches were landing on his arm. It was that when they started getting through the guard that Lonnie Foster steps in and puts a stop to this fight.
Well, Dietrich did a good job, Mike, at not stopping right there. He just finished it. He smelled the blood, and he went for the kill, and he got it. He got the win. Congratulations, Jeff Dietrich out of Primal Tribe Fight.
Well, the Primal Tribe Fighting Club shows that they are real contenders in this thing, and they're here to give Utah all they can handle. You know, Jake Paul is one of the toughest guys in Utah, and Jeff Dietrich beat him tonight.
This post-fight interview sponsored by Beehive Bail Bonds, because sometimes bad things happen to good people.
Jake Paul, tough loss. How do you feel, man?
Shitty.
Well, can't say that on TV, but nonetheless, brother, I mean, you really trained for this fight. You felt like you were ready for this thing. What happened?
He just caught me with a shot. I covered up, but I was just getting too many blows, so I stopped the fight.
Once you get rattled like that, it's tough to bounce back, man. But Jake Paul, tell me, what's going to happen with Jake the Snake from here?
Well, I've got some things I can work on, obviously, but I just want to get back in here and compete, get some more wins. I'm tired of losing.
Hey, I got to tell you, Jake, you represented your team well tonight. You represented the state of Utah well tonight. You ran into a kid that's just a tough kid. And I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for fighting for us. And congratulations on being such a good sports and taking a loss like a man. But tonight you were good, but just not good enough, bro.
Yeah. If I can take a quick second and thank my sponsors, Global Marketing Alliance, Soft, and everyone up there. Thanks a lot, guys. Also, everyone over at Western Interior Services. Thanks a lot for supporting me. Thank you.
What about the folks at Players Club? They supported you out here tonight.
Everyone needs to come to Club Players tonight. It's going to be a huge party. Want to see everyone there.
All right, bro. Hey, I love you, man.
Thank you.
This post-fight interview brought to you by our good friends at Great Clips.
Go to ultimatecombat.com for participating locations. Jeff Dietrich, man, you fight a tough kid in Jake Paul, and you guys go to war. That first round, he had that ankle lock, and like the last second, I thought he had it, but then you come back, you pound him, and you get the victory. How do you feel about the fight?
Boy, that ankle lock, he's a lot tougher than I thought. I thought I was going to do a lot of Muay Thai with him, but didn't work out that way. Didn't even throw a kick on him. But he had that ankle, boy. Saved by the bell.
Saved by the bell, but I tell you what, these Idaho guys are class. They're tough. They come down here to win, and you did it. Jeff, can we expect you to come down to Salt Lake and fight again?
Yeah, anytime. Just finishing up with the boxing season, and now I'm back down here and doing the MMA thing with Tom and Primal Tribe. Thank you, Utah, for letting me come out. You guys are a really good crowd. There's a lot of openings for fighters. I mean, if anybody wants to feel like they're tough enough to get in here, get in here.
Absolutely, and that's the best way to say it. The Utah fans are great. The Idaho guys are just as tough. Thanks so much for being a part of the show. Congratulations, you got the cup, baby.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got to give a lot of props to Jake Paul. He handles a loss like a man. He took it like a man. Came out here, fought his guts out, and lost a tough fight.
He didn't fight a tough fight. That Jeff Dietrich kid is a tough kid. I've seen the videos. He's the real deal, and Jake Paul has nothing to hang his head about. Hopefully we can see a rematch in the near future, Mike.
Absolutely. Johnny, I got to point out, man, Johnny, is pink the right color for this thing?
Pink.
Mine's burgundy. Mine's burgundy.
Pink's the new black. Burgundy's the new yellow, I guess.
We'll settle that later. We got more fights. Stick around.
All right, we are out front here with Great Clips for Hair, where they're giving everybody, what, mohawks? Is that what you're getting?
Going for the mohawk. Yeah, I couldn't stand a big white head, so gonna go for the mohawk.
What tempted you to do this?
The tempting was the second row tickets. I asked for first row, but you know what? I'm not as cute, so she gave them to somebody else.
And come down to our stores. We'd be more than happy to cut your hair. We have locations from Murray all the way to Provo, so come down and see us. And we love being here. This is our crew. Great Clips rock.
Has anybody heard of a guy named the Razor?
Stephen Sharp, anybody? Few people.
The Razor. He had a tough loss not too long ago. Who did he lose to?
He lost to the guy he's stepping in the cage with tonight, Mr. Ray Relentless Perales.
Well, you know, it's interesting that Relentless Ray's nickname is Relentless because I've never seen a guy train harder than Razor since that loss.
Absolutely.
He's here to avenge it tonight. Welterweight, no holds barred. Check it out.
What does it mean to be representing Utah in this competition? And tell us why you think you are going to beat Relentless Ray Perales.
I really could care less about the Idaho versus Utah. I'm looking at Ray myself. I'm coming off of a loss to Ray. It was a great battle, our first fight. Conditioning had a lot of hard parts in that. He capitalized on a mistake that I made. This won't happen again. I didn't let my hands fly. He'll definitely feel it, and he'll get knocked out the first round.
All right, I'm just going to turn it over to you, Ray. What does it mean for you to be representing Idaho, and why are you going to win Stephen Razor Sharp tomorrow?
It means everything to represent Idaho. I'm relentless. I, too, am going to let my hands fly. I'm going to show you why I'm the better fighter. I ain't going to talk, I ain't going to do nothing. I'm just going to put it on you.
Well, all fights are won or lost actually outside the cage. They're won or lost inside the training, inside the gym, inside the combat gym, inside everywhere, and it's inside your heart. You're actually already knocked out, you just don't know it yet. I'm gonna smash your face.
Ray Perales? On that note, same question, man. Tell the people home, what have you been doing to prepare for this fight?
Through all that hate, I see fear. I ain't gonna lie. I tell you right now, I've been training like a... I ain't gonna lie. 6 to 8 hours every day. That's me, relentless. Cardio, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. I'm there. I'm at a whole nother level, and I'm gonna show you.
All right, whether it's in your heart or a whole nother level, these guys are gonna be mixing up, and this might just be the best damn fight of the night. I know you don't, but you guys please shake hands, and best of luck to both you guys in tomorrow's competition at the Delta Center.
Well, Johnny, you could cut the tension with a knife there on that one. You can see this thing has gotten a little bit personal. There have been some verbal things that have been said back and forth that make both these guys just not like each other.
There's no love in this cage at all when these guys step inside it, Mike.
What's going on here, Johnny?
Hey, it's Stephen Razor Sharp, classic Stephen Razor Sharp. He's got his own entrance, man, coming from the top of the stairs. He wants to show his fans and his people some love, and that's what he's doing right here, brother.
This guy, nobody puts on a better show than Stephen Razor Sharp. He's coming in from the fans to say he's part of the fans and wants to get some of their energy coming into the ring. And yeah, it's a dynamic entry, Johnny Ritchie. He's just doing his thing the way he he does his thing.
Mike, out of all the fights of the night, I've got the chills on this one. I think this one has the makeup to be the best fight of the night, because you know Stephan Sharp, Mike, has got the heart of a champion, and you talked about it. He's been conditioning, training, waiting for his opportunity to get back at Ray Perales, and now that he has it, he's going to take full advantage of it, Mike.
Well, he goes 5'8", 170 pounds, you know, and Steve Sharp lists himself as a street fighter. I think he's evolved from that considerably. He's kind of one of those gym whores, as they call it. He trains at all the gyms in town and picks up little things from everybody, and that's how you get good.
And that's right, and that's led to his success this far, Mike. The fact that he's trained, but he's a gritty fighter. He's going to take what you give him, no matter if it's punches or kicks. You want to wrestle him, he's going to do it all, Mike. And for some reason, somehow, he gets out of the most awkward positions. He gets out of the tightest spots, and to walk away a victory every single time, hats off to Steve Sharp.
And then he beats submission wrestlers with submission. You know?
Yeah.
He beats boxers with boxing. Somehow he outclasses the opponents that he has. Ray Perales is no joke, though. This kid has over 30 boxing matches, several mixed martial arts matches. I've known this kid. He fought in our first E-Center show back in 2000. He's been around, he's been fighting for a long time. He's already beaten Razor Sharp.
Yeah.
He knows he can do it. He's got that confidence, he's got that swagger coming into the cage.
And sometimes, Mike, that might be your downfall. You know, he's beat him once, he thinks maybe I can beat him again. I don't know how hard he's been training there. Tom Suppnet assures us that he has been training hard, that he is looking forward to knocking Steve Sharp out, and we'll see if he's got what it takes to do that, Mike.
I've found typically guys at this level don't take a lull in their training for a fight just because they know they've beaten the guy already. Ray Perales is 5'10", 170 pounds, and I assure you he's been training hard for this thing. He's not going to take this fight lightly because, once again, I think it's gotten personal. There's been some verbal volleys going back and forth that made Ray Perales probably motivated to train for this fight.
Well, you know, they had a chance to talk a little bit of smack before, and I got a chance to talk to Steve before the fight, and Steve told me, Johnny, I'm going to try everything in my power to knock Ray Perales out in the first round. And, you know, Steve's not one to make predictions, but when he has, they've come true. So I'm excited to see what happens in the first 3 minutes here, Mike.
Almost prophetic, you know, where people have said, you're not going to triangle me. Well, then he ended up triangling them. You know, he's saying he's going to get the knockout here. I've never seen Stephan this animated. I mean, even when he fought Melendez those times, he wasn't this animated and this ready to go as he is right now. He's got ants in his pants there. He can't stand still. He wants to get this fight going.
Well, and you see Dave Silly said, telling him, set back in the corner, get ready to go. No better ref to have in there than Dave knock you out Silly instead.
Oh, man, Steve's trying to swing for the fences right here to get things started. I'm not sure why he's throwing those wild haymakers, but I think he's looking to land that big punch and end it early to fulfill that prophecy.
And that's probably it, Mike. He's going to give whatever it takes to get it done in this first round, and goes for the takedown right there and gets jockeying for position, and it lands inside Ray Perales' guard.
That was a nice scramble there, and as you mentioned, Steve Sharp ends up on top. Does it just me, or does he just look a lot smaller than this kid?
You know, he does, Mike, but I think that's the case in all the guys he fights. Steve, he's smooth, he's not cut, he's not ripped, he's a smooth, you know, his everything from his complexion to his body type. He's just not a very physical kid. Every time he goes up against an opponent, I think he's outclassed in that
His hair gel must weigh a lot, because he weighs in the same weight as these guys, but he just doesn't, as you said, look as physical as they are.
Well, he's the first one to tell you he's got a little pooch. He's been trying to work that off like crazy.
What is a pooch, Johnny?
He's got a little belly on him, Mike. Nothing compared to mine, but he's got a little belly on him, and he's trying to work that off as well as he is trying to get his fight skills honed in to take on Ray Perales.
Well, he's comfortable with his physique. Never seen a fighter as pink their main color, but Steve Sharp does it and does it well. Little lull in the action here, but I think this is a testament to how much respect both these guys have for one another. Steve Sharp's kind of camping out in Ray Perales' guard and not wanting to leave anything behind where Ray Perales can take advantage of, and the occasional flurry just like that one is what's going to keep this exciting.
Well, people were asking me, Mike, you know, what do you think about this fight? What do you think the odds are? And all I had to say was this fight's either going to be super exciting or really boring.
Oh, Johnny, here comes a triangle choke here.
Wow.
Steve Sharp did leave something behind. He did try to get around behind or the side of that guard and throw punches, but Ray Perales looks like he's trying to take advantage of, maybe even looking for an arm lock here, but Steve Sharp just keeps hitting you. He just keeps punching, and that right there will take you out of your submission game.
I was going to say, he's doing the right things to make sure that Ray Perales doesn't get that on there. He's punching him in the face, and that's how you beat a submission fighter, Mike, is by striking him, by punching him, by getting him out of their element. And I think right there, Steve's doing a good job of saying, hey, you're going to try to put this on me, I'm going to choke you, I'm going to stick my knee on your face.
Nice
I'm going
job.
to make everything uncomfortable for you.
That was a beautiful job getting that knee up there and getting out of his guard. That was a great job of avoiding that submission. And as you mentioned, landed 4 or 5 or maybe even 10 punches in the interim. and Ray Perales, I think, has realized that he's not just going to walk through this Steve Sharp kid this time. He's in for a battle.
And especially right here in Steve Sharp's element, Mike. You know, he's a hometown favorite. He's in the cage, which he's very good at fighting out of. A lot of these guys don't know how to use the cage very well. I think Steve Sharp is one of the guys that knows how to use it to a T. He's going to try to pin you against that thing. He's going to use it to his advantage. If he's on the ground, he's going to use the cage to get back up. And you see him just dropping forearms
and his elbows,
punches.
Johnny. He knows how to cut you with those elbows. He knows how to pin you up against the cage and cut you with that elbows. He sees an opportunity to cut somebody as an opportunity to win a fight, whereas a lot of fighters don't look at it and look for that. Steve Sharp, I think, hands down, wins that first round. What do you think, Johnny?
I think so too, Mike. I just think he was more aggressive. He got out of the submission attempts. He had the more strikes, and he just looked like the all-around better fighter.
We got round 2 when we come back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. If you're just joining us, one of the all-time favorite fighters of the Ultimate Combat Experience, Stephen Razor Sharp, is in here mixing it up with his nemesis from up north in the Boise, Idaho area, Relentless Ray Perales. You see here in your Crush Combat Cam, brought to you by the old Salt City Jail, where it was a pretty good action-packed first round, a lot of back-and-forth action, but Steve Sharp landed a lot of big shots, just like those ones right there, that I think won him that first round.
Yeah, he got out of a couple, one big submission attempt to land into a pretty good position to drop down elbows, forearms, and punches right there, and Ray Perales took a beating. One thing Stephen did tell us, Mike, is he wanted to knock him out in the first round, and he spent a lot of gas trying to do that, Mike. Spent a lot of energy.
He looks like he's done the worst for wear over there. He's getting jacked up, ready to come back out here for a second round. But as we said, that first round is a pivotal round. He came out here and took it to Ray Perales. Let's see if he can carry on that momentum. A big leg kick here, loses his balance and winds up on his back now. Let's see what Ray Perales can do from on top.
Well, we've seen Razor Sharp in this position a time or two, Mike, and he can do a couple different things by this. You know, look for the reversal or try to put you in that triangle choke that he's beat so many people with before.
Well, he right now just kind of looking to glom onto something, kind of hold his opponent in tight here and maybe get a little bit of a breather to maybe have some energy toward the end of this round. He likes to steal rounds. He likes to throw in big flurries at the end of the round to leave impressions with the judges.
Well, Mike, Ray Perales said he's been working on his wrestling, working on his jiu-jitsu, and let's see if he's really has. You know, he's doing a good job of staying close, staying in tight, not letting anything get extended, and that's when the trouble can happen to you. But he's doing a good job of staying close, and let's see if he knows how to use this cage to his advantage.
Yeah, it's a good point. You bring up a good point there that Ray Perales, he has a boxing background. That's where he evolved from. It was from the boxing genre, and a lot of those guys are like fish out of water when it goes to the ground, but Ray Perales has done a great job of making the transition into a cage fighter, into a mixed martial artist. His ground actually is pretty good, and it seems to me as though he and Steve Sharp are very even on the ground. I don't see the one's any more superior than the other, and both of them do like to strike on the ground.
They do. You know, Steve's content to punch you from on the bottom or on top, but right there, Ray Perales says, you know what, let's just get back on our feet and do this thing the way I want to do it.
Let's see what I've been doing since I was 6 years old, and that's box. Let's get up here and do this thing. Steve Sharp looking for that big kick, and boy, you see Ray Perales throws nice straight punches right down the pipe, and they landed 2 or 3 of them right there, and those can hurt you.
Well, Steve Sharp usually can stand up with guys and trade, but I think he's smart. He doesn't want to do that with Ray Perales because Ray does have the reach, and it looks like he does have the skill. You know, he's not afraid to throw the 1, 2, 3 and land those punches.
Steve always drops his hands when he kicks. It's always been one of those things that I've always felt he needed to work on, and he throws those big looping punches, whereas Ray Perales is going to come right down the pipe and beat you to the punch here. Steve's got to set those punches up. Nice job. He landed a nice combination there, however.
Well, you know what, Steve Sharp, it's almost Chuck Liddell-esque. He throws that huge looping left and then tries to come with that straight right, and I've seen it work a time or two, but right now Ray Perales I think he's just too slick for that. He's been boxing way too long.
Well, Chuck Liddell can graze you and hurt you.
Yeah.
These guys got that much punching power. Steve Sharp doesn't have that same type of punching power, so I don't think he can get away with that. I think a lot of times fighters do that. They try to emulate other fighters, and unless you've got their same physical attributes, they're just not going to pan out the same way for you as it would for them.
Well, you know, like I said once before, you're absolutely right, Mike. That's the truth there.
Nice takedown there. Ray Perales, the boxer, did a nice, almost a suplex, almost, did a nice takedown of Steve Sharp. And it seemed to me right there, once again, that Ray Perales showed he was a little stronger than Steve Sharp. He picked him up almost effortlessly.
Well, Steve Sharp has never been one to tell you that he's the strongest kid on the block, but I think he's got the most heart out of any fighter that we've seen. A lot of these guys step in here and do it. What was the stoppage right there? Was that the end of the round, Mike?
I guess that was, and that was a tough round to score there. I think you give it to Ray Perales, landed a few more big shots there than Steve Sharp, but that was a very close round. And now Steve Sharp's starting to show a little wear and tear. See here in your Crush Combat Camp, brought to you by Quality Inn Hotels, where it looked like Steve Sharp was trying to slide into third when he tried to throw a leg kick and just lost his balance.
Lost his balance right there. He gets kind of tied up. Ray pushes him back, drops a big left right through the guard there and landed right on Razor's chin.
And 2 or 3 of those punches landed right on Razor's chin. And you saw once again how Ray Perales comes right down the pipe with those things, and he just lands them. He dots you up with them, and Steve Sharp's hurting right now.
Well, for that big takedown too, you got to give that up to Ray, Mike, because he is a boxer and he lands that big takedown right there. And I think it might have thrown Razor off just a little bit. You can see in his face he's a little bit fatigued, but I think Ray Perales is tired himself, Mike.
There's no question about it. They're both very tired. These guys have both come out here and battled it out through 2 so far. Steve Sharp's still got to be looking. He just caught a big knee and subsequently several big punches to follow. That rocked Steve Sharp, and this kid's got a chin, but that hurt.
Yeah, it did hurt, Mike. Most of the time, I think a lot of times if Ray would have landed on anyone else, it probably would have knocked him right out. But Steve Sharp, like I said, he's got a lot of heart, and he wants to fight this thing through, and he's going to try whatever he can to get Ray Perales to the ground, which he did right there. But he doesn't want to stand with this kid.
Well, this is good for Steve, because then he's in a position where he can kind of hang out for a minute and get his bearings back and maybe get some of his gas back. But it looks like that tank is on empty, Johnny. He's not even moving. Yeah. He's letting Ray Perales kind of move around him, pull him into his guard rather than keeping him pinned up against the cage there, which Steve Sharp is famous for doing. Steve's just kind of content to hang out here, and he needs to get something back in the tank. He needs to get some energy back to come back, and he's got to win the second half of this round in order to win this fight.
Well, he's got a lot. He's got the crowd cheering for him. He's got a lot of people here that came to see Steve Sharp catch a little bit of revenge on Ray Perales. I'm not sure where this is going to go. I think Stephen's really going to have to work hard in this last couple minutes to really get the advantage and really beat Ray Perales, because Ray landed some really nice shots in the beginning of this third and final round.
Well, I think regardless of the outcome, Steve Sharp has vindicated the loss. I mean, he came out here and shows that, and has shown Ray Perales that he is in his league. I know that Steve took that very personal when Ray Perales says, "You're not even in my league, that you have no business fighting me. I'm way too good for you." And you know what? This is a close, evenly matched, hard-fought match, and I think Ray Perales is going to take those words back.
I think so too, Mike. Right
there's a good combination from Steve Sharp, but it just looked as though it was just his last breath that he was throwing those with. And you mentioned so many times in this fight so far, Johnny, he's just got so much heart. He's going to fight to the bitter end.
He is. I could see the disappointment on his face when Dave stood him up, because he's like, man, I do not want to be standing up with Ray Perales. But Steve's fists are good, and they're dangerous. We've seen him knock out people, Mike. We've seen him do a couple different things, but Ray Perales is just relentless right here.
Johnny, Steve Sharp has just burned so much energy on those attempted takedowns. He gets underneath this big, strong kid and tries to lift that leg up, and his arms just, there's nothing left to them. And now Ray Perales is really pouring it on with 30 seconds left. I think Ray Perales has done enough in the last 15 to 20 to win this fight. All he needs to do is kind of hang out right here and stall out a win.
Well, Mike, one thing about the Primal Tribe Fight Club is we've seen it. When a guy's injured, they're really going to take advantage. Some guys might look at that opportunity to take a breath on their own, but Ray Perales said, man, I've got this kid hurt. I'm going to get him. I'm going to toss him to the ground and try to beat him in his own game here.
Well, they're also savvy enough to know how to win fights. I mean, that's what they do. They win fights. I mean, Ray Perales is being relentless here and pushing forward, but you see he's not doing anything stupid, not leaving himself out there, and he did enough to win this fight. He stole a victory from the hometown favorite, Steve Sharp. Look at him. He can't even get his body up off the canvas. He's just exhausted, and that's a testament once again to what this Steve Sharp kid's all about. He does not leave anything left in the ring. He doesn't leave anything left to question. He put it all out there.
Well, Ray Perales has been in a fight too, Mike. He's going to feel it. Steve did land some pretty big shots, some big forearms, some big elbows in the first, and as the rounds progressed, these guys both laid it out there, and that's good to see that right there, Mike. It's good to see these two.
It don't matter how tired Ray Perales is, he's still going to flap his jaws. That kid loves to talk. See you in your Crush Combat Camp, brought to you by the American Bush. That was a huge flying knee that I don't think Steve Sharp ever really came back from. He did recuperate to a certain degree and land those punches there, but I think it rocked him, and you don't want to start a round off like that because you know, it sets a tone, it sets a pattern here where Steve Sharp just couldn't get going after that.
He couldn't get going. Ray Perales landed some huge shots. Steve right there landed a pretty nice uppercut, but Ray Perales, the better boxer, bar none, he just did it. Steve Sharp, I think, you know, he's going to be a little bit upset about this, but I think he knows, I think he knows in his heart that Ray Perales fought a better fight than him tonight.
Well, of course he does, and you see right there, Steve Sharp, once again, he's spent. He's not even able to hold his lunch up. I don't think he has any lunch in there. The kid's tired. Let's listen to what the judge had to say.
Judge number 3 scores 29-28 for your winner by unanimous decision. Fighting out of the red corner.
As we called it, Johnny, I mean, Ray Perales did win that fight. Steve Sharp, I think, did win over the hearts of many, including probably Ray Perales. Sure. I think he won the respect of Ray Perales because Steve Sharp did prove tonight that he's in his league, Johnny, but it just didn't work out for him tonight.
You know, Steve Sharp, we know you love. I hope you know that we love you, man. I know you're going to continue to come back and fight hard, man.
What great hand speed. That kid is really a good boxer, but look at Steve Sharp. That's the Ultimate Combat Experience there, right there, Johnny Ritchie. We got more when we come back.
This post-fight interview sponsored by our friends at Mountain High Motorsports.
You laid it out there. Nobody in here can say you didn't put everything you had into this ring, including a little vomit. Steve, talk to the people, man.
Wow. I don't know what it is about this guy that makes me push myself so much that
I'll tell you what it is. The guy's a jerk. I like the hell out of it. He's a jerk. He's kind of like me. He talks, he speaks his mind. And you know, Steve, I got to say, I've watched you train for this thing, and you know, you put everything into this fight you had.
I definitely won the first round. I can't believe I gassed out again, man, against Ray. I don't get what it is. I go 3 rounds with Melendez.
Here's the deal, though. I mean, I wouldn't even talk to him about this because he said you weren't in his league, and I think he has to admit at least that you were in his league tonight.
Definitely, I hope he has some respect for me. I've gone full 3 rounds with him again, and he has to agree that I beat him the first round, and he'll look in the mirror and realize that same thing, too.
All right, man. Help this man out of here. Congratulations, Steve. You gave it your all, man. Tonight you were good, just not good enough, bro.
This post-fight interview sponsored by American Bush, Utah's only 18 and over gentlemen's club located at 2630 South 300 West.
Relentless Ray, man, you were relentless. Stephen Razor Sharp is possibly the toughest guy that's ever stepped inside the cage or ring, and you beat him twice, and it was a close fight, man. I'm not gonna lie to you, you guys both bombed it out. I don't know. I didn't want to judge this one. I wouldn't have judged this one because it was so hard. But you came away the victor, Ray. How does it feel to represent Utah in this team challenge and walk away with the victory?
I represent Idaho, but I thank Utah for the opportunity. Mike Stidham, yourself, UC, Ultimate Fighting Combat Experience. Was a great show. He's a tough kid. I just hung in the first round. I let him tire himself out just like I did the last time. He's all show and then he gasses.
Well, I'll tell you what, Razor's a class act. He's a tough kid and he does. He gets in here and lays on the line, and we thought this fight might only go 1 round because you both wanted it so bad. But Ray Perales, you are the winner of the Border Wars against Stephen Razor Sharp. Congratulations, man. I hope we get to see Primal Tribe come back and fight again.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ray.
Hey, you know, hats off. And again, I got to give it out to Ray Perales. He came out here and represented his team, the Primal Tribe Fighting Club, and it was a great fight. So there's no booing needed here tonight.
Absolutely not. 2 warriors stepped in here and 1 prevailed. And I tell you what, we're going to see Razor Sharp again. That's a guarantee. Hopefully we'll get a 3-peat out of this, and maybe the Utah boys will walk away with it.
Hopefully we don't see his innards coming out next time. But Steve Sharp, I love you, man. Great job. We got more of the Ultimate Combat. Stick around. For those of you who follow this show, you know that we went down to Antigua, the Caribbean, not too long ago, and we put up a world championship, an Ultimate Combat Experience World Championship, and a guy from Idaho, nobody knew anything about this kid, won the dang thing.
Won the thing.
Maniac was upset because he couldn't make it. He had some family commitments. He couldn't do it. Well, you know what? Maniac says, that is rightfully mine. That belt is mine.
And Kyacey Uscola is a kid coming out ice cold, coming all the way down from Idaho. And this kid, Mike, if there's anybody that can be Maniac, it might just be this guy.
I got to tell you, I spent some time with Kyacey, both traveling down there and another. One cool cat.
Awesome.
But this is going to be an outright war. It's your main event. Light heavyweight, no holds barred. Maniac versus Ice Cold. Check it out.
I'm ready to rock and roll like I always do. You expect a great fight. It's probably going to end quick, but you know, all my boys came out. Might be a little disappointed that it ends fast, but sorry, that's the way I do it. Bottom line, I'm the better fighter.
You're right about that part. It's going to end quick, and it's not going to be me going down, boy. Basically, I just picked my training up a notch just for this fight. That belt you won in Antigua, that's supposed to be mine. I'm plain and simple. I'm going to knock this cat out.
He's going to knock him out right there. Oh, I want you guys to shake hands. Benjamin Fuimaono, Ice Cold Uscola. Best of luck to both these guys in tomorrow's competition.
Boy, Johnny Ritchie, no need to put together a best of episode this time, because this show right here, man, you got your money's worth, and send me your donations to the Ultimate Combat, because you're getting more than your money's worth here.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, Mike, this is a fight that's been in the making since we went to Antigua. Benjamin Fuimaono has been on top of the game here in Utah for how long? A long time. And Kyacey Uscola has been on top of his game in Idaho for how long? And so this was inevitable that these guys were going to meet in no better fashion than here at Border Wars at the Delta Center. Wow, this is going to be a great fight, Mike.
Well, you just got through watching Steve Sharp and Ray Perales mix it up, and this fight is going to be every bit as exciting, I guarantee it. This Uscola kid, as we mentioned in the open, is one cool kid, but Johnny, he's a tough kid.
He is tough, Mike. All aspects of his game. He's good on the ground. He's a college wrestler, but he's more of a submission, a ground and pound, just a tough kid.
Maniac just knocks people out.
Yeah, he best one two in the business. We've said it time and time again, but if he puts that right hand in your grill, guess what? Good night.
He really brought a crowd in tonight, too. You can hear them all cheering up to get this kid going. This place is electric right now. The Border Wars has been tight as could be, and Maniac and Ice Cold are here to mix it up to see who will reign supreme between Utah and Idaho.
Oh, man, and Benjamin Fuimaono doing a great job of just keeping Kyacey back, dropping the punches, because you know he doesn't want to go to the ground because his ground game isn't the best, Mike, but he's working on it. He's progressively getting better at that.
That was really a classic mistake by a boxer. He leaned in, he lunged in to throw that short hook, and subsequently gave up his hips, which, of course, Ice Cold is going to take full advantage of. You come into me like that, and you're going to get your hips taken away and get taken down. Maniac has been training his ground, though. He's learned enough to pull Ice Cold into his guard and work defensively from the ground.
And even though he is on the ground, Mike, if Benjamin catches you with one of those hooks or an uppercut, he still might be able to knock you out. He's got dynamite in those gloves.
Oh, he's got enough power to knock you out from just about anywhere. But Uscola knows position. He knows how to stay out of a trouble spot. And Maniac, bottom line is, Johnny, he's got to get back up on his feet.
Well, you know, Kyacey's going to control his hips and not let Benjamin get any type of advantage. And you can see that, you know, Benjamin doesn't know a whole lot of submission. He's got his legs crossed, just hoping to squeeze him and maybe get this round over with as soon as possible.
Talk about dynamite in your hands there. Uscola's landing some body shots that you can hear from here. Those things are solid. This kid has some punching power as well.
Well, we saw in Antigua, Mike, if he didn't knock guys out, he submitted them. So, you know, his all-around game is there. Benjamin Fuimaono isn't there, but what he doesn't know on the ground, he makes up for it when he's on his feet.
Well, you might notice somebody is absent from our finals this go-round, that being Mafu Fosa, because his nose is still broken from when Kyacey Uscola rearranged his face down there in Antigua in the finals.
In the final bout, he hit Mafu and broke his nose. It looked like a couple different places. But they're friends afterwards. Mike, we had a chance to hang out afterwards, and hopefully we'll get the same with these two guys here, Mike, win or lose.
Ice Cold is being very calculated in what he's doing, and I get the feeling, I get the sense here that he's just trying to wear Ben Fuimaono out. He's putting all his weight on him, making this kid bear his weight as well as his own, and really trying to wear him down, because Ice Cold has got a game plan. He's not just coming out here trying to knock people out quickly. He's looking at the 3-round fight.
Well, he is, and right there, he said it was going to end early, but a good thing is we're going to, maybe get to see a second round. I'm not sure unless he can get a submission. I think Benjamin is tough enough to stay in this position, and it's not really going to affect him that much if you're punching him in.
Gosh, Johnny, though, I saw a couple of arm lock opportunities. Ben Fuimaono just isn't experienced enough on the ground. He's just not able to get that. Look how long the arms of Ice Cold Uscola are. Ben Fuimaono's pushing him back with his hips, and Ice Cold's reaching over the top and still landed punches.
He is landing punches, Mike, and those punches are going to take their toll eventually, when he gets into the later rounds. But as of right now, I think Benjamin might even be content here because he might be able to catch a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather, and look forward into the second round where it's going to start out on their feet.
It's not much of a break when you've got a big kid like Uscola on top of you, Johnny. Easily you give that first round to Uscola, but let's see if Benjamin Fuimaono can turn things around when we come back. Welcome back to the Ultimate Combat Experience. Right there you see Ice Cold Uscola and Ben Maniac Fuimaono mixing it up here in your main event of the show tonight. And that first round, Johnny Ritchie, was one of those rounds that just wasn't really good for the home team. Ice Cold Uscola dominated that first round.
Well, he did what he had to do, Mike. He knew that if he stands up with Benjamin Fuimaono, he's going to get knocked out. Did the smart thing, took him to the ground, did the ground and pound technique all the way till the end. Hats off to Kyacey Uscola. Big kick by
Where did that
Maniac
kick come from? And I don't know that I agree with you, Johnny Ritchie. I've talked a little bit with Uscola. He feels like he's got better hands than Ben Fuimaono.
I don't know, Mike. I don't know.
That's a big statement, and that's something you don't want to try to find out, in my opinion.
And you see Benjamin Fuimaono recognized, that was a pretty good shot. Gave him a little nod and said, "Nice job there, bud."
It was just a jab, but that wasn't. That right hand really rocked Ben Fuimaono, and boy, I don't know if this fight's over, Johnny. This fight is over. He's not getting out of that.
He tapped right there.
He got rocked with a right hand that sent him to the canvas, and he immediately gave up his back, and Ice Cold Uscola is going to send the hometown fans home not very happy tonight.
Wow. I never thought I'd see, well, you know what? He got a shot landed on him, Mike. Benjamin Fuimaono, I'd never seen that happen before. Usually he gets taken down and maybe gets submitted, but he ate a shot that forced him to the ground.
You live by the blap, you lose by the blap. That 1-2 punch of his has been best in the business, but I think it just got bested tonight by Kyacey Ice Cold Uscola.
Right here, you see him hit him, and he gives a little. Oh, right there, yeah, nice shot.
That was a jab.
Shot.
It was just a jab.
Right there. Wow.
Maniac was nodding over a jab, and then Ice Cold says, "You like that? I'll give you my right hand too." And that thing landed right on the chin. And that's been Maniac's criticism. When he waits, he doesn't perform like he would like to, and he did. He let Uscola throw those punches. He waited for him, and looks like the Primal Tribe Fighting Club is going to take home a big win here, a big upset win from the Ultimate Combat.
Well, Ice Cold Uscola, Tom Supnett, the whole crew up there, congratulations, you guys represented yourselves well. I can't wait to see these guys come back and fight for us again, Mike.
Get back down here, because we got more fighters for you. Great job tonight, Kyacey.
This post-fight interview brought to you by the home of the Ultimate Combat Experience, Sandy Station.
What happens at the station stays at the station.
Hey, Benny, I know you're hurting right now, bro. I know you're hurting. It's all on the inside, too. You know what, though? I am so proud of you. You're such a good representative of my gym, of this sport, and I know you handle this like a gentleman. You lost the fight tonight. You've lost to a tough kid, though. Kyacey Uscola is no joke. He's a tough kid. How you feeling, man?
I don't have no words right now, man.
There's a lot of people out there that love you, Ben, and you look around here right now. A lot of people, they feel your pain right now, and I'm going to tell you, Ben, you'll come back from this. This is a tough loss. I realize that, but you got a lot of love in the room for you, man.
Hey, this is a sport. The best man wins, yo. I got to give it on up to Kyacey, man. You got a good one. You beat me, so you deserve it, man.
And that's the Maniac. That's the Ben Fuimaono I know and love. You're a gentleman. I love you, bro. I love the hell out of you, man.
Hey, I just want to thank everybody for coming out. I'm not going to ask Kyacey for a rematch. It's up to him to give me a rematch or not.
You know what, though? You got a lot of people out there that love you. Go spend some time with them. I love you, man.
This post-fight interview brought to you by theoinkshop.com.
Adult novelties. Kyacey, he brought a lot of friends and family and fans down from Idaho, and you come in here and fight the toughest of the toughest in Benjamin the Maniac Fuimaono, and you walk away the victor. How do you feel about the whole fight, representing Idaho and stepping in here and doing this thing?
You know what? It wasn't only me. It was
There was 5 of us that came down from Idaho. I'm just happy I got the split decision for Idaho.
All right, there, these guys took it 3-2. It was a hard-fought battle. I tell you what, Kyacey Uscola, I know we're gonna see you again. You brought it home in Antigua. You're bringing it home tonight. What can we expect out of Ice Cold in the future?
Big things, big things. I'm going to the top. Nobody's gonna stop me.
Right there, you guys mark that words. You got Kyacey Uscola going to the top. Congratulations, you got the cup. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks, buddy. Hey, I want to thank my fans. My fans are the awesomest. My buddies, my fans, family. You guys are all badass. I love you. And all you guys from Utah, MMA's growing, taking over the world. Keep it sporting. You want to take the UCE, you guys got a class act organization. My sponsors, Freak Fight, Ground and Pound. I love you guys. Keep it coming.
All right, Kyacey, nice job, man. Primal Tribe, nice job. Congratulations to all you guys.
Hey, a great night of fights. We're here with Tom Supnett, the leader of the Primal Tribe Fighting Club. You got some tough guys up there.
We're working on it, definitely.
Tom, you know what? When we announced this card, people said, Idaho, you're fighting guys from Idaho. They don't realize, literally, you guys are on the map in the MMA world. I mean, people outside of Utah don't realize how tough your team really is.
That's right, and we're training hard, and we're getting better. It's blowing up. MMA's getting a lot bigger now, and you can expect big things coming out of Utah, too.
Hey, does anybody know where I can catch a fish around here? What's going on?
Hey, let's go fishing. Tom Supnett, man, I tell you what, congratulations to the whole Primal Tribe. You guys got in here, represented, fought some of the Utah's toughest, and you did a hell of a job. Nice job tonight, man.
Thank you, and I want to thank Utah. You guys are a class act. Mike Stidham, UCE, little Johnny here, Ball of Hayes, awesome.
All right, man.
You guys.
Tommy, thank you so much. I want to thank our sponsors that helped us out this round. There are too many to name, but honestly, we couldn't have done it without our sponsors. Couldn't have done it without the fighters. And Johnny, last round we said, we'll never top this final show. And somehow we did.
It keeps getting bigger and better every single week. We're at the finest venue in the whole country. The Delta Center is a fantastic place.
Larry Miller does things first class. And what a great venue. What a great night. And, thank you for watching the Ultimate Combat Experience, because without you, we couldn't do this thing. Johnny Ritchie, I love you, man.
Love you too, Mike. Thanks, brother. It's awesome.
We'll see you next week on the Ultimate Combat Experience.